Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Excited to be back to review with the YouFit team best weight loss advice for your 2023 goals. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Ale Zozos. I'm a registered dietitian with EatLove and YouFit's in-house registered dietitian with their nutrition program, EatLove. So if you haven't heard about EatLove yet, you absolutely will learn about us through our webinar today, and I will reserve some time for a short demo as well as Q&A. So before I get started today, I just had a couple of polls to get a better sense as to those watching what type of membership you currently have with YouFit, because some of you watching may have access to EatLove already, and I'm happy to give you some instructions on how to activate that membership. And if by the end of today you want to upgrade your membership to incorporate these benefits that come with a Premium Plus membership, you will have all of the information at that time as well. So let's just start with what type of YouFit membership you have. We have the basic, Premium Plus, and Premium, as well as not currently a member, because I know this is open to potential members who want to join the YouFit team in the future. All right. So far, Premium Plus is winning 36% of the votes, and then it's kind of even between basic and premium and not currently a member. So no worries on that. For all of you Premium Plus holders, you have access to EatLove right now. You just log into your YouFit app, you click on the EatLove tile, you go through the onboarding steps, and you will have on-demand meal inspiration based on your nutrition goals, which could be anything from weight loss to managing diabetes to muscle gain, and you want to, or you have celiac disease. Very, very broad spectrum of goals and conditions that you can select your profile, but more on that later. I'm going to jump into the best weight loss advice for your 2023 goals. And we strategically put this webinar in February because usually in January, weight loss is a very big goal, and by February we may be burnt out in it. So we wanted to rebring the topic back to February with a more direct lens, with some clarity and some road mapping expertise that you can use to really knock this goal out of the park with the 11 remaining months that you have in this year. So thank you all for that goal from that poll. So we talked about goals, and I have a couple other polls to introduce partway through. If you guys want to introduce yourselves and drop in your name and where you're tuning in from, I always welcome that, as is any questions that you have as we go through our topics today. So without further ado, let's dive in to our goals for today. I just want to make sure that we can see this screen all right. I can see it on my end, but I have it on my second monitor up here. So I think we're good. All right, best weight loss advice for your 2023 goals. So in today's discussion, we're going to learn about the top mistakes to avoid. There are many, and how to map out your personal weight loss map, because believe it or not, this is not a one-size-fits-all approach. If it were, we've probably been doing generic advice in the past, and we want to make sure that it works for us. Will this plan, will this eating plan, will this workout regimen work for me? Is the most important goal to answer at the end of the day. Hi, Junior from Florida. We'll talk about non-scale victories, because when we're on a weight loss journey, these are often forgotten. If you've been around for some time, I talk about non-scale victories on our educational sessions like this all the time, because when you focus too much on the scale, it's not only going to inhibit our weight loss because we're expecting weight loss to fall off at a certain rate, but it's also going to overshadow things that are worth celebrating. Do your clothes fit better? Do you have more energy? Are you sleeping better? All of those things, and why we are trying to change our lifestyle to begin with, are so overlooked because that number on the scale is not moving and we feel like we're failing. So I'm going to dive into what non-scale victories are, why they're important to move forward, and then of course how to maximize that sustainable weight loss trend. Mercedes and Ruth, welcome. Christina, it's good to have you all today. So let's talk about weight loss mistakes to avoid. First and foremost, and the reason why I wanted to talk about this in February, is setting unrealistic goals. First and foremost, if we have a big overarching weight loss number, I'm just going to use 20 pounds as an example, your weight loss goal may be more or less. At one particular time, 20 pounds, if we're looking at it between yesterday and today, that is a lot of weight. In a realistic setting, yes, we can absolutely lose 20 pounds in a year, but we have to space it out in a way that we're able to achieve those weight loss mini segments and check-ins along the way. If we're looking at a realistic healthy weight loss, we're looking at about 1 to 2 pounds per week. 2 pounds being that very high deficit. You know, I'm a huge fan of micro deficits. I love 350 calories deficit per day. Yes, it's going to be less than 1 pound per week, but it's also not going to feel like you're ever restricting yourself or dieting for that matter. It's a very not low stress way to put yourself on the path for success without feeling so deprived or hungry or result in these cravings. So setting unrealistic weight loss goals, if we have a weight loss goal of 20 pounds and you're like, I'm gonna lose 20 pounds in the next month. First and foremost, I mean, it probably is possible through really drastic, unhealthy measures, but we're not promoting that here at YouFit and at EatLove. We want you to be successful with those goals. So if we're looking at that 1 to 2 pound weight loss rate per week, that 20-pound goal is going to take us at least at a minimum, a little over 2 months. A little over 2 months if we wanted to be realistic about it. And that's at the very high end. This is like a Jaguar rate of weight loss. And that would be a really low calorie deficit. If you are a smaller person and your calorie goals are already telling you to maintain your weight, you need 2,000 calories a day. If we want to achieve that 2 pound weight loss per week, that puts you at a 1,000 calorie weight loss deficit. And, you know, that's not going to be great long term. It may be a short term fix, but it's absolutely not going to be what you want to do long term. So if you have a lower number of calories to start with, I would recommend a smaller deficit. You know, there is no race to the finish line here. At the end of the day, we are changing lifestyle habits. And if we're trying to get to that, you know, finish line faster, what did we learn along the way? How do we bring in all of those changes to the rest of our lives? Because there is no getting off this path. This is the path that you're choosing. This is the lifestyle change. So it's okay that it can take 2, 3, 5, 2 years even to make those changes so that they stick. Number 2, choosing low-calorie foods. I know this was really big in the 90s. I am a 90s baby growing up with all of this past trauma when it comes to diet culture, where all of these low-calorie, low-fat, that was all of the rage. It was, how can we take the fat out of the peanut butter when, you know, peanut butter is, or just any nut butter in general, is such a wonderful nutrient-dense food. They had this thing called peanut butter powder that removed all of that good fat for us because it was lower calorie. It was the quote-unquote better option. Absolutely not true. If we are not eating our baseline energy needs for even just to maintain our body weight and then therefore go into that deficit, low calorie and low fat are probably not going to be the answer if we're not even meeting baseline needs. And I always say, you know, we don't have to choose the healthified version of anything as long as we know what moderation and honoring your cravings look like. Again, a skill that may take some time to honor and learn, but so much more worth it in the long run when you're able to enjoy your favorite foods and you never have to feel deprived of essentially anything. Number 3 is not lifting weights. Weightlifting absolutely boosts metabolic rate. It increases muscle mass and promotes fat loss. So we want to make sure that we're adding weightlifting to our workout schedule. And this doesn't mean you're in the gym back squatting 150 pounds. You can use your body weight. You can use, 10-pound dumbbells to get started. Any type of weightlifting. Body weight is a really great place to start if you're just learning that. And I know YouFit's going to have a lot of great classes and resources to help you get started with that when you are first incorporating weightlifting into your plan. And then, of course, focusing on the scale, which we'll talk about more at length in a couple of slides down. But even on a weight loss journey, measurements, energy levels, stress reducing, sleeping better cannot be ignored when we are on this journey together. So instead, there's a couple things that we can do here. Instead of these 4, we're going to focus on these 5. Meet energy baseline needs. This is an absolute must when you're refueling. You may need to take place before creating a calorie deficit. So you may have been in a deficit for so long that even you could say, like, I'm down to 1,200 calories a day. I've been doing this for years and I'm not losing weight. I've been stuck at the same weight. It most is likely due to the fact that you need to reverse diet. And that's a trendier term these days, but essentially it just means that you need to meet your baseline needs and feel comfortable there before you start reverse and going back down into that deficit, because where you currently are, you can't physically go any lower and have positive outcomes. You're not going to be able to hit all your nutrition requirements when it comes to fruit and vegetable servings, whole grains, fiber, even just, of course, energy needs in general. So your body could be used to that, and we need to get it back to baseline before you can come into that deficit. Number 2 is to get plenty of these nutrients. You're going to want to get protein, you're going to want to get fiber, fluids, fruits and vegetables, whole grains, beans, legumes, you name it. When we look at our plate and we can identify 2 to 3 different types of plants at any one particular time, it doesn't have to be just fruits and vegetables. Our grains, our nuts and seeds, our beans and legumes also are plant foods. So we want to get more of those nutrients. They're going to contribute fiber. They're going to contribute protein, which keeps us fuller longer. It's also going to help us maintain muscle mass overall. And to add the cherry on top, if we are doing any type of exercise, physical activity, we need to get fluids to make sure that everything is really well hydrated. Our cells are hydrated, our electrolytes are moving in the right way. Sodium is one of the most essential nutrients in our body. It's the gatekeeper of the cells and for hydration. So if you are someone that does a lot of endurance, a lot of cardio, you want to make sure that you're rehydrating with the appropriate electrolytes as well. Number 3 is slow down your meal time. So take time during those meals, eat undistracted if possible. I will be the first one to raise my hand and say that I still don't follow this one 100% of the time, especially if a lot of us are at work and we're eating at our desk or answering emails. We want to take at least 10 to 15 minutes longer if possible to just start learning to eat when we're not distracted. When we're not distracted, we're able to tune into our hunger and satiety cues in much greater detail. And I talk about this scale a lot on these educational webinars as well, where if we wait until a 1 on the scale, a 1 being overly hungry, voracious, I'm going to pass out, I'm so hungry, to a 10 on the scale, we're most likely going to overeat to that 10 because we are a 1. When we are in more control of our actions and our meal times, we have the ability to slow down our meals and not scarf everything down in a couple of bites and then get on our day. We want to make sure that we live in that 3 to 7 range at any one point in time where you're, feeling signs of hunger, but you're not to the point where you feel like you're going to pass out or that you're so nauseous. And then if you eat when your first sign of hunger, second sign of hunger, you can stop at a reasonable number on that scale. So slowing down, learning to eat distracted is a skill in itself, and definitely one that you should be focused on if you have weight loss goals. And then number 4 is to reevaluate often. So if this isn't your first time with weight loss, attempting weight loss, ask yourself what worked in the past or what didn't work. What have you tried? Was it sustainable? If something, I hear this all the time where, I did X, Y, and Z plan. I followed this diet. It worked. And then I gained all the weight back. In that particular instance, it never worked. You're going to get short-term results, but it didn't actually work because you weren't able to maintain that strict regimen for the rest of your life. So if you embark on a journey and you do something where you're eliminating a food group or you're eliminating certain types of foods and you see that short-term weight loss, and then you realize 3 weeks into it that you really like pizza and you're never going to be able to give it up forever, it's not worth the time and journey down that path because you're just going to end up failing at that point and it's going to come back and you're going to feel like you failed. So if we take it a little bit slower, we reevaluate, we look at all of our past attempts, we look at what worked well, what didn't work. Was it something that I could maintain my whole life? If the answer is no, then we reevaluate. What can we do for the rest of our lives? And that is the $1 million question that I know many of you watching today want to answer for yourself. What is going to work for you? Number 5, this may be it. This may be part of that answer, is learn to eat your favorite foods without guilt. This comes into a whole bunch of subcategories. We have reject the all or nothing mentality, also known as black and white thinking, where if we eat, let's use pizza example, because I know that's my personal favorite food. If I eat pizza once a week, I am not going to meet my weight loss goals. That's absolutely a false statement. I'm going to reject that all or nothing mentality. Or if I eat pizza this week, I did not meet my nutrition goals and I failed and I have to restart next week. That's all or nothing thinking. When we can't find in that spectrum, that scale, where that pizza delicately fits with the rest of our meals and fueling energy or fueling opportunities for the rest of that week. Once we are able to reject that thought process where here's the scale, pizza's here, down here, and I can't bring the scale up to balance anymore, I'm constantly in this state, that's an all or nothing thinking. We want the scale to be balanced at all times. And that includes eating your favorite foods. So if you feel like you are struggling with that, it's time to examine your relationship with food. Are you labeling food as good and bad? Do you feel guilty after you eat certain types of foods? Does that guilt weigh in to the following day? Does that dictate your food choices? Do you find yourself restricting or depriving yourself of those intakes and those food choices? And if you do, how long does that go on until you end up getting that food again? You eat it maybe in surplus, and then you feel really guilty going forward and you restrict all over again. That is the hamster wheel of the diet guilt binge cycle that we see in diet culture so often. And it goes hand in hand with the all or nothing mentality. So if you feel like any one of those are you, it's time to re-examine that food and how you can look at food with a neutral approach, a neutral lens, where pizza holds the same, maybe not nutritionally, but the same outlook to you that a cup of spinach does. Because when you look at it that way, you can enjoy it in moderation and you can move on with your day while you hit all of your nutrition goals and still enjoy your favorite foods. And that comes into when you're actually honoring your cravings. And you can say, yeah, I enjoyed that and I can move on with my day and I'm going to let my body tell me what it wants next. Another skill, it's not going to be an overnight shift. This could take months, it could take years to unravel. But examine your own personal relationship with food and learn more about where to go next. Where do I shift? So let's talk about creating your personal weight loss map. I'm so glad I used the example of 20 pounds earlier because we're going to continue using that goal for this particular example. So your overall goal, this is what you would like to achieve. It doesn't tell you how you're going to get there, but we all need to have our why or, our main goal, and then we create sub goals under it. So our goal is to lose 20 pounds by 2024 and keep it off. Seeing that 2024 is 11 months from now, we're looking at 1.5 pounds per month, which is absolutely obtainable. That is, it may not seem like a lot in the moment, but when you break it up like that, excuse me, you could be in a calorie deficit of 200, 250 calories, give or take, a week and be able to achieve that goal. That's where these micro deficits come in and why I'm such a huge fan of it, because you never really feel like you're on a weight loss journey. You are slightly in that deficit. You have a refueled to your metabolism of where you feel healthy, and you're able to not restrict yourself so much. So you're able to maintain it a lot more long-term, and then you're able to hit that goal and keep it off. So how do we do that? We have to figure out our plan in between. So we have to create these micro goals. I like to call them sprint goals from time to time, because we have like 2-3 week period of we're doing something and then we're reevaluating at the end of that, because all of those goals, those micro goals, add up to that big overall goal. So of course, a couple of them might look like eat within a calorie range to promote gradual and sustainable weight loss, stay consistent with your workout regimen. So these are still a little bit vague. We still need to map these out a bit more, and we may not be starting with all three of them. Eat within a calorie range to promote gradual weight loss. That may be every meal, or it may just be, I'm going to eat within the proper calorie range for dinners this week and see how I feel on that. Or staying consistent with my workout regimen may be you're going to the gym 3 days a week and not every day. It's 3 days a week because you're consistent with that. It's not an all or nothing, 7 days this week, none the next 2, 7 days the next week. You want to be consistent with it with 3 days every week so that you can keep up with that routine and that lifestyle change. So even within these micro goals, I recommend to pick one, really put your attention on that for a couple of weeks, reevaluate. Is it something that you can maintain, or do you have more room to grow in that micro goal before you bring another habit into play? Create a sleep schedule and get 8 hours per night. Another one that's going to take some time. You're going to create that sleep schedule, your unwind routine. What does that look like? Are you finding that you're going to bed at similar times in the evening? Do you have the 3 things that you need to do before you can actually go to bed? Make sure your alarm's set. Maybe you want to prep for any big meetings you have the following day. And then that way you're able to unwind a little bit faster. But all of these in themselves are going to take time to develop. So pick one, get started with it, and continue on. And then assess the long-term rewards. Increase self-confidence. You're going to increase your self-confidence when you're able to work with one of these goals, 2 of these goals, 3 of these goals, eventually maybe 6 months into it. And it's going to, you did that yourself. So you're going to improve your self-confidence knowing that you can take on more and actually achieve it. Reduce the risk of chronic disease. Of course, maybe we're not thinking about that right now, but maybe we have family history of diabetes, high cholesterol. Those 2 feed into heart disease, which is the leading cause of death among women. And I believe the second with men. It's a huge challenge that we have in the United States. So maybe it's not our immediate thought, but long term, we absolutely want to reduce the risks that maybe have affected our family in the past. Less knee pain, less joint pain in general, and fitting into your favorite pair of jeans. All things that have an equal amount of reward to you and to you alone. So you want to make sure that you assess the long term, that how it fits your personal trajectory. All right, so here's a couple of additional things for creating your personal weight loss map. We're going to put those strategies into action. So these micro goals have the strategy. I will plan my meals ahead of time to meet my nutritional needs. Fabulous one. I will show you all of the good things that EatLove can help you do with planning your meals ahead of time. I will record my meals for accountability. If you're a food tracker, we got you covered there as well. I will drink unsweetened green tea instead of a soda and any other sugary drinks. This may not be like a daily switch. If you're drinking a soda every day, this may be, I'm going to try an unsweetened green tea 3 days next week and see how it goes. But cutting yourself off cold turkey, anything like that, any type of food, any type of workout plan is an all or nothing approach. We don't want the all or nothing approach. We need to find that balance, and we need to be kind to ourselves at the end of the day when we're doing any of these and putting these strategies into place. I will lift on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So you have your select lift days. Again, you may start with just Mondays and work your way up if you're not doing any right now, but it needs to be consistent for you. I will walk or bike for 30 minutes on non-lifting days. Again, that would be like a 5-day workout plan. Maybe you're not there yet. You don't have to be there. It's what's best for you. I will cut off my screen time. I think this is one that we could all use by 8 p.m. and aim to be in sleep. They aim to sleep by 10 p.m. I will take a progress picture one time a week or one time a month, whatever that progress, or take measurements, something like that, to just know that you are moving in the right direction, even if it's not in terms of weight loss, but you can physically see it or physically see it in measurements that you take. So create ways to overcome these obstacles. You know you best. You know what has worked in the past, what hasn't worked in the past. So anticipate that. Anticipate the challenges and where you're going to get stuck. This is such a positive way to cope with a lot of the challenges that maybe you have experienced in the past and you didn't have positive coping mechanisms when they attacked, literally when you were on your weight loss journey in the past. So boredom snacking, what are you going to do to overcome boredom when you're snacking, when you're bored? Can you drink water? Could you find, water's water? Maybe it's a little too boring for you. It's probably a little too boring for me at times. Maybe I want to put some fresh lemon in there and some mint or lavender, really spice it up and make it be, hydrating, refreshing, really good. Maybe I want to go for a short walk. Maybe I want to meditate for 10 minutes, but I want to start to respond to these actions because I know I'm going to feel them. I know I'm going to feel them on this weight loss journey because I have in the past. So how can I get over them? I'm going to put positive coping mechanisms in place. If you're busy and grabbing convenience food on the go, plan ahead and prep for healthy restaurant meals. EatLove has you covered here. I'm going to show you the couple minutes we have left today where you can find restaurant swaps in your app. Too tired to work out to go to the gym after work? Try going in the morning. If you have a lunch break, if you need to get out and you just want to walk on the treadmill in between meetings, if you're able to do that, or you're able to take the meeting on the treadmill with you to go to the gym and kind of dual pack them together. So you're able to do something, even if it's not how you envisioned it for that day. An anxious mind when you're trying to go to sleep, try gentle stretching and reading before you go to bed, and maybe not scrolling through TikTok for hours that I'm super guilty of. But try to calm your mind down with disassociating from the TV and any other screens that can be mildly distracting. And then plan for your reward and your compliance with your changes. Do you want to self-care with a massage? Do you want to try new sneakers or a workout outfit for your plans? Mani-pedi, I know are a couple of my favorites. Maybe you want to plan a nice dinner out. So all of those things are going to add up into this. And it's not just what can I do to make the scale move? Because that at the end of the day is not going to be the healthiest approach for it. And that's visible through these non-scale victories. So non-scale victories are these milestones reached in the pursuit of health and performance and do not evolve around that number on the scale. They're so key to your weight loss because if you get frustrated or upset when that scale isn't changing, this can lead to loss of motivation. Again, why we wanted to talk about weight loss in February. If you've already gone through this in January and you said nothing is going to work, I've tried everything. This is going to be a really positive approach to look at things that are changing And it's not going to be an overnight change. We know this. It's going to take time and it's going to take dedication, and we can't get bored in our goals, because once we get bored, we're going to lose motivation. We're not going to want to do it anymore. So how do we celebrate those achievements on our health journey to achieve that motivation and the sustained motivation? Is non-scale victories. So here's a couple of the ones. I talked about a couple of them already, but improved lab is a huge one, especially if you're getting lab work done every 6 months and your doctor's like, hey, you know what? You're creeping more into that prediabetes range with your A1C. Why don't we focus on your diet over the next 6 months and we'll retest this then? And they notice that you have that trend that was indicating going towards a prediabetes range. You had stopped it there, and now it's back down into a normal range. So improved lab work is such a positive result of non-scale victory. It tells us what's going on the inside. More energy, better sleep, increased self-confidence is a huge one. More comfortable in your clothes are fitting better. Increased endurance, achieving your PRs at the gym, reduced cravings, reducing your joint pain, wherever that is, fingers, neck, shoulders, knees, hips, you name it. Better attitude and feeling happier. Your progress pictures are changing. Your measurements are changing as well. So all of these things really equate to a positive weight loss. And if you're achieving these and that scale is not moving, sometimes our priorities change, and what we want to get out of this journey is changing, and it's pivoting. Maybe not a complete 180 into a different direction. It's pivoting into, hey, I feel really great. My labs have improved so much. I'm getting better sleep. I want to really lean into this. I want to understand more about it. And it's going to make all the difference at the end of the day. And that weight loss will happen eventually if you're doing all of these things and feeling these things. It just may not be at the trajectory that you had originally planned. And that is perfectly okay. So I want to talk a little bit about how to use EatLove for maximizing your sustainable weight loss. While I gear this up, I did want to run a poll on how often are you stressed about meal times? And I have a follow-up question to that. So EatLove, if you are not familiar with it, is a nutrition technology service that is integrated with YouFit's memberships, that Premium Plus membership. And what it can do for you is help you eat for every eating occasion based on your nutrition goals. Are you looking for restaurant meals, recipes, ready-made meals and meal kits, even, I'm missing one, your own recipes that you upload to the system? It will give you an on-demand feed of meal recommendations based on that nutrition profile. Maybe you selected prediabetes, maybe you selected high cholesterol, maybe you wanted to lose weight. So all of that is taken into consideration and essentially giving you this nutrition profile of your macros, if applicable, your calories, and then of course, positive nutrients like fiber, fruits, vegetables, whole grains even. So it's going to give you meal recommendations based on your profile that you have set up. You can choose for simple, quick recipes for busy weeknights. You can utilize batch cooking to your advantage to help you with your cost overall. I know my groceries have gotten crazy expensive, so I can only imagine yours has as well. If you want to kind of estimate your prices, we do have a nice little cost per meal per serving as well before you add it to your grocery cart. All of those meals go into it where you can actually create your grocery list and order online through one of our integrations. It's usually Amazon Fresh, Walmart, or Instacart. So all of those, you can be on the treadmill on the cool down after your workout class, and you can be ordering your groceries on your phone and pick them up on your way home, or just have them delivered to your door. You can log your meals, your water, your exercise intake for accountability. We have integrated with Fitbit. So if you want to track your calories burned and steps taken, you can see that in your daily log as well. And then you can log your weight and non-scale victories in your daily notes. So looking at our poll here, it looks like 43% not stressed when you are eating meals. Fabulous. It's always where we want to be. And about 5 is sometimes, 40% sometimes, and 20% always. And then a follow-up question to that: what is most difficult about those meals? What is stressing you out the most? Is it time to cook, family preferences, health goals, planning? If I don't have the answer up here, feel free to drop it in the chat, because I'm always curious to hear, what is that challenge? What do you need to be able to make these lifestyle changes? So I want to show you, and I know we're just at time here, so if you do have to run, that is perfectly okay. I will be sending out this recording after our time today. just want to share a different screen. All right. And then looking at this, we have planning, 46% of the answers. I feel you on that. Health goals, another one, 23%, in time. We're tied at 23%, and family preferences at 8%. All of those are going to play into what makes mealtime stressful and what makes it difficult to plan. So when you log into EatLove, you'll see your on-demand meal inspiration. This is the daily. We have an app, of course, that the single view looks really great on. I'm a planner. I love to plan my meals. And I can't really say that I'm a planner for anything else in my life except meals, because I know how important that is in terms of my schedule. And I know many of yours as well, when we're busy and we just don't have what we need to do right away. So I'm actually going to do my expanded view here so you can see the week in advance of what your meals look like. And in this particular case, I don't have the automated feed turned on. You can leave it on, you can turn it off, you can tell it you only want lunch and dinners, whatever you really want to do. But I can see here that I have my lunch mapped out, super simple. This dish is, it takes 5 minutes and 5 minutes, and I'm making it for 3 days next week. And the cost per serving, I want to point out, $2 per serving. It's going to be a really great plant-based meal with 31 grams of protein, lots of fiber there from the hummus and the whole grain bread. So I picked this dish because it fits my nutrition profile. And an easy way that you can do that is just by adding a meal here. I can say, okay, this cherry nut oatmeal looks great, super simple. I want to batch cook this for 3 days. And there, planning is done. And I can add it to my grocery cart, which makes things really convenient. You can go through this. We have 7,000 dietitian approved recipes and meal ideas that you can add to your grocery cart at any one point in time. So you can see in here my meals. Here's the grocery list. I can check off items that I already have. Usually these condiments and spices, not something I need to buy every week. Maybe the first time I do this, absolutely, but I'm going to make it really easy. And then you can shop online through one of our partners, and you can see here. Right in here. Here are options there. If you are someone that likes to plan, we have an entirely integrated food log system. So if you log your favorite foods, bananas, oranges, kind bars, you name it, that'll be in here. It will deduct from your totals at the top. You can also get a really detailed view of your nutrition analysis if you really like these numbers and you want to see where you are strategically so that you can make changes based on those numbers. Absolutely encourage all of you to export your nutrition analysis after you do like a 3-day food log. Very, very inspiring. Kind of scary sometimes, but it's really great to just kind of bring some clarity to your goals. You know, if you're feeling really hungry in the afternoon, but you noticed from the report that you're only meeting 50% of your protein needs, you know that's a good place to start, and that will also help your weight loss goal overall. You can easily log your food by just saying that, yes, you ate this. You can add your water, your weight, your exercise notes, all that good stuff, and get a really clear picture, which, you know, in terms of weight loss and your weight loss journey, this daily log, this journal is going to be a really great place for you to analyze it in more detail. So I'm going to come back to our chat, see if we have any questions today, and then I will let you all go for that. Also in the planner, if you do Smart Swap, that's where you'll find your restaurant options as well. You'll find things like Starbucks, Chipotle, McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, other really popular chains. I love it for Starbucks. It's not just the meals themselves or the items on the menu. We've actually made meals put together. So like the sous vide egg whites and the oatmeal is now a complete meal. So it's going to fit your nutrition profile because it's what you selected when you onboarded. So I don't see any questions. I know there's sometimes a delay, but if you guys do have any questions, feel free to, any questions about EatLove, feel free to email support@eatlove.is. And we can answer any questions like that. And any questions about getting started with EatLove, you can reach out to your home gym. I just want to answer Juliet's question on here on thoughts on a full day fast. Absolutely not. Speaking from the dietitian in me, absolutely not. There's really no benefit that can come from not eating for 24 hours. That is science-based and researched that way. So I am not a fan of fasting. My fast happens when I'm sleeping, and then I wake up and I'm feeling refreshed, and I am, listening to hunger and satiety cues that way. So same thing with Mercedes' question. Intermittent fasting, I do that when I'm sleeping. So I'm getting 8 to 10 hours of not eating because I'm asleep. That's my fast. That's all I need. Because if I don't eat, I'm not going to be able to function at my best. So I wish I had the answer to why so many people recommend them. It's the fad of the time. So I know when I was growing up, Special K created a whole diet around their products. I remember that one vividly. The 3-day military diet was very popular. These are fads. These are fads for times. And when you're sleeping, you are fasting. I know if I didn't eat breakfast, I would not be a very nice person the next day, and I would not be able to function, and I would not be able to achieve my goals. I remember that baseline, that weight loss, that basal metabolic rate. If we are not hitting our baseline needs and we are under fueling, our body is not, it's going to hold on to food when we actually get it. So yes, calorie deficit, no to drastic measures to be in that calorie deficit, if that makes sense. Amazing. Awesome questions, you guys. If you have any others, we do have a Facebook group. I believe it's YouFit times EatLove on Facebook. I usually have a QR code on that one, but type in YouFit times EatLove. You should see the group. There's a couple hundred members in that. We're posting a lot of great things on a weekly basis, recipes of the week, so we can continue the conversations over there if you guys have any questions. But I appreciate you hanging on an extra 7 minutes of your day. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and let me know if you have any questions. Bye.